Hello friends, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365, and in today's video I will be going over the top 10 best 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray discs released in 2023. Alright everybody, it is the end of another year, so in this video I will be going over my list for the top 10 best 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray discs released in 2023. This has been a very solid year for physical media, and the 4K format, in my opinion, has been booming. It's a really healthy market right now, and there have been a lot of great titles, both in new theatrical releases coming out on 4K, as well as some catalog stuff. If you want to hear my thoughts on the top 10 best catalog titles released this past year, I will link that video in the comments section below. So this video will focus on new movies that came out in both theaters and on streaming services that have arrived on the 4K format. Now, before I begin, this, of course, is going to be my list of the year. Yours will be very different. So I encourage you, as always, to put in the comments section below what your top 10 best 4K discs released in 2023 are. All right, let's not waste any time. Let's dive right into my first pick. Speaking of streaming services, my number 10 pick premiered over on Hulu, but I was very happy that a 4K physical release actually came out this past year. And I'm talking about 20th Century / Disney's 4K release of Prey. In my opinion, this one is an absolute worthwhile inclusion of the top 10. This picture looks gorgeous. HDR brings those stunning landscapes to life, and visually this movie is just excellent. And the Dolby Atmos, this one, audiophiles will definitely be eaten good because it really has some robust energy. It's very multi-directional and dynamic. I love how this both looks and sounds on physical media. Just go ahead, pop in your disc and compare it to the Hulu stream. It's no comparison. There really isn't. This is one of the cases for why a physical 4K release is going to be far superior to what you get on streaming. So Prey is my number 10 pick. My pick for number 9 was actually intended to originally premiere as a streaming movie, but rightfully so, was given a theatrical run. And when it came to physical media, this 4K release of Evil Dead Rise was one that probably is one of the best audio designs of this past year. Visually, it looks good. It's a dark film, but HDR does a great job dialing in the black levels, and the colors really are sharp. But when you watch a horror film at home especially, you come for the audio experience, and this is easily one of the most dynamic of the year. Wow, this is hard-hitting. It's just multi-directional. There's a lot going on. If you have an Atmos setup, you are certainly going to be enjoying what you hear. And in my opinion, one of the best discs of the year. It definitely needs its recognition. So Evil Dead Rise on 4K is certainly the way to go. If you follow me long enough on the channel, you know my thoughts on when Hollywood releases a film that falls into the animated category, whether it is animation or stop motion. I always feel that they cheap out on the sound design, and it doesn't live up to what we get in its live action counterparts. So for my number 8 pick, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, this one definitely set the bar when it comes to an audio experience. First, the visuals. Aided by HDR and Dolby Vision, I think this movie looks beautiful. It's very lifelike with what you see on screen. The colors are gorgeous. But the Dolby Atmos on this it really caught me off guard on how surprisingly robust, energetic it is, and just how much it really utilizes the Dolby Atmos surround environment. I think this was a winner from the Criterion Collection. They put out a fantastic disc. Once again, a movie that did premiere over on streaming. But if you put this against the Netflix, it's once again, it's no contest. I think all animated or, that type of movie should take lessons from this, because you don't have to dumb it down for the audience. And the audio really lives up to Guillermo del Toro and his vision, but both visually and the audio experience on this film are worthy of putting on your shelf. At number 7 is another entry from the Mission Impossible franchise, and of course it's going to make a top 10 list. I think that Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 is a fantastic 4K experience in both visual and audio. I absolutely love these films, and I think they really deliver the goods. They give you that nice, fully immersive sound design. And if you have Dolby Atmos, you're getting a lot for your buck, because it really, I think it does a great job implementing all those audio cues that, action scenes and even some quieter moments. There's a lot going on, and I think audibly it really brings the goods. And visually, this is a fantastic looking picture. I think Mission Impossible Fallout was slightly better looking, but I still really enjoy what we see here. I'm a big fan, once again, of these films, and it would just be kind of nuts to not have a Mission Impossible film hit a 4K top 10 list. So for that reason, it is my number 7 pick. At number 6 is the latest in another franchise, and it delivers a stellar visual and audio presentation from start to finish. I'm talking about the Lionsgate release of Spendables 4. Now, of all the movies on this list, this one's probably going to leave a lot of people's opinions in the negative. Once again, all film is subjective. This is about the picture and audio quality, and of course, somebody's going to like the movie, so they might as well know what they're getting as far as the 4K. But with that said, I think this is an absolute stunning 4K disc. This movie has a different visual aesthetic than the prior 3 films. It's a lot cleaner, and it makes those colors really bolder and more lifelike. And the audio, this one is certainly one you're going to want to demo to your friends. When those action scenes kick in, you're going to feel it the next morning, because there is a great use of Dolby Atmos. This is one of those films, whether you love it or hate it, it's going to deliver on the 4K front. So if you're a fan, definitely pick this one up on 4K, and you're going to get an outstanding visual and audio presentation. At number 5, it's a little bit of an underrated film, but I think coming from Sony, it delivered on all fronts. Gran Turismo is an excellent 4K disc. When you think of Sony, they're probably one of the top major studios that puts out 4K releases in consistently high quality, and this one is no exception. This is a visually stunning 4K image. I mean, the colors just leap off the screen with Dolby Vision, and you get that real in-depth detail. It looks awesome. It does. But based off of a film that it has to do with racing, the audio better step up, and it certainly does, because this is a very dynamic audio experience. Those races, you're going to feel them in your seats, and the surround environment is constantly active. I love how this looks and sounds on 4K. If we're going based off of a blind buy, I recommend this one, but if you are somebody that appreciates a good visual and audio experience, Gran Turismo will definitely be up your alley on 4K. My number 4 not only got one 4K release this year, but just recently got a second with additional extras and a new Dolby Vision grading. Avatar: The Way of Water from director James Cameron is easily one of the best experiences on 4K this year. This is a stunning looking picture. I mean, the ocean settings are gorgeous. I mean, the rippling blue waves and water just look beautiful. And if you have the new 4K with Dolby Vision, it gives you just that much more. This is a stunning picture, and the audio is also equally impressive. There's a lot going on in the various action scenes, and even the quieter moments. You get the world of Pandora that populate your surrounds and your heights. Wow, this is something else. I mean, I can't imagine a lot of people don't have this in their collection unless they flat out hate the movie. But if you're upgrading from the prior 4K release, it's worthwhile. It really is. I mean, the Dolby Vision adds a whole lot, and I think this picture is just great. Audio-wise, picture, you get the best of both worlds. So Avatar: The Way of Water is my number 4 pick. I'll tell you what, you never would have been able to convince me a couple years ago that not just one, but multiple streaming movies would be arriving on physical 4K, let alone making a top 10 list. But here we are, 2023, it's been a year. All Quiet on the Western Front is my number 3 pick of the best 4K discs of the year. Wow. I mean, I am very impressed with what we got. You have that gritty World War I aesthetic, and it just looks so much fuller and bolder with Dolby Vision. And not to be outdone, the Dolby Atmos in this is spectacular. There is a lot going on, especially during action scenes, but even some of the quieter in-film moments really have some good ambience. I think this is probably one of the best well-rounded discs of the year. I highly recommend you pick up the physical 4K, and All Quiet on the Western Front is my number 3. There are very few film directors that still champion physical media as much as Christopher Nolan does. So for my number 2, Oppenheimer, it is definitely one of the best of the year. I absolutely love how this 4K turned out. I was very fortunate enough to watch it on 70 millimeter. And while we don't get quite that much of an experience at home, I still think the 4K release is something you should definitely consider adding to your collection. Visually, this looks awesome. You get that nice HDR layer. It's not too much. It's bold and it enhances the colors as well as the black and white segments. And you get that nice layer of grain. Ooh, look, it looks very filmic. But only Nolan can make a DTS 5.1 something that is demo worthy, and the audio design on this is top notch. You better have your subs dialed in because it will kill them with how much there's a bombastic energy, and the dynamics of the surround stuff really come to life. I mean, I think this is probably one of the best of the year as far as 5.1 mixes, but just overall, it is fantastic. Oppenheimer on 4K, it is my number 2 pick. Before I get to my number 1, just a couple of quick honorable mentions. Lionsgate's 4K release of Talk to Me. If you really enjoy a good horror film that has some creepy atmospherics, the Dolby Atmos on this one, I think will definitely satisfy that itch. And Universal's 4K release of Fast X. It is an exceptionally clean looking picture. It's stunning at times, and the Dolby Atmos is good. I wouldn't say it's great though, but it really is still a solid offering. And if you're a fan of the Fast and Furious films, the 4K is certainly the way to go. And finally, Disney's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is a worthwhile addition to your collection. Visually, this is a beautiful looking picture. It has that whole cosmic side of Marvel, and the colors look fantastic. HDR does a really solid job here. And the audio is not your typical low-level Disney offering. The Atmos, I think, really delivers. It's a very solid 4K disc. And for my number 1 best 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray disc released in 2023, John Wick Chapter 4 from Lionsgate takes the number 1 spot. I can't express enough how much I was blown away when I popped this 4K disc in and watched it from start to finish. Because visually, this is near perfection. Those black levels are dialed in immaculately. The colors are bold and vibrant, and the image itself is clean. It is as clean as you're going to get it. But really what puts this one over significantly is the Dolby Atmos. You are going to feel every punch to the face, gunshot, and it's going to hit you with authority. And the dynamic audio cues are completely just very multi-directional. And if you have an Atmos setup, you are going to experience something great. I think this is easily the best 4K disc released in this past year. John Wick Chapter 4 is my number 1 pick. So those are my top 10 best 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray discs released in 2023. Now, if you're interested in any of the titles I talked about on this list, I will leave direct Amazon links in the comments section. If you use them, they really help out the channel. But now it's your turn. Let us all know in the comment section below what your top 10 best 4K discs of this past year are. Sound off. Let's talk about it. In the meantime, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. So until next time, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365. I will see you at the movies.